The Bedtime Files. Episode 2. Cinderella's Slipper. Chapter 1. The Keycard.
Do not read this near a clock. I know how that sounds. I know every warning starts to sound fake after you hear enough of them. Do not go into the woods. Do not answer voices at night. Do not open the door. Do not say, fairest. Do not read the next file out loud. But warnings become warnings for a reason, and this one is mine. If there is a clock in the room with you right now, look at it. If it says 11:59, stop reading. The last thing I remember from the motel room was the keycard sliding under my door. Not thrown, not pushed quickly, sliding, slowly, like whoever was outside wanted me to hear every inch of plastic scraping across the floor. The woman outside my door had stopped pretending to be housekeeping. Now she was humming my mother's lullaby, the one she used to sing after Ben disappeared, back when she still believed grief was something you could hum through. I wanted to scream at the door. I wanted to ask what it was. I wanted to ask why every dead thing in my life had learned how to speak. But Blackbriar had taught me one rule that mattered more than panic. Never answer a voice that wants you to prove you recognize it. So I stayed silent. The keycard stopped at my feet. On the front was the motel logo. On the back, someone had written 3 words in red ink. Try the slipper. My laptop screen flickered. The file was still open. Cinderella's slipper, unlocked. Under it, the message blinked again. She left it there for you. The humming outside stopped. For one perfect second, the world went quiet. Then the door handle turned. Not all the way, just enough for me to hear the lock catch, like someone testing how long a locked door could keep a fairy tale out. I backed toward the bathroom window. It was small, rusted, and painted shut, but fear turns ordinary people into animals. I climbed onto the toilet, slammed my elbow into the glass, and crawled through the opening while the door handle kept turning behind me. I hit the wet pavement outside hard enough to knock the air out of my lungs. Behind me, from inside my motel room, my mother's voice whispered,
"Mara, sweetheart, you dropped your shoe."
I looked down. One of my sneakers was gone. I do not know when I lost it. I do not know how. But in the broken bathroom window, reflected in the cracked glass, I saw something standing in my room. It had my mother's shape, my mother's nightgown, my mother's hair, but its feet were bare, gray, and twisted backward, and in one hand it held my missing sneaker like it was something precious, like it was proof. Then every clock in the motel parking lot blinked at once. The sign by the office, the dashboard clock in my car, the cheap watch on my wrist. 11:59. All of them. 11:59. 11:59. 11:59. That was when I understood the first answer. The stories were not following me because I uploaded the files. They were following me because I had become one. And something had started reading.
Chapter 2. The Cinder File.
I drove barefoot until sunrise. I did not stop for gas. I did not stop for food. I did not stop when my phone began ringing from numbers I recognized. My father, dead. My mother, dead. Ben, missing. Dr. Wren, unknown. And one number saved in my phone as home, even though my parents' house had been sold 5 years ago. I threw the phone out the window somewhere outside Charleston. It rang in the road behind me until I could not hear it anymore. By sunrise, I found a public library in a town I had never heard of. I used a computer in the back corner and checked the upload. Most links were already dead. Some said copyright strike. Some said national security violation. Some said content unavailable. But other copies had spread too far. Forums, archive sites, reaction channels, horror pages. People were already arguing about whether it was real. That should have made me feel better. It did not. Because under every repost, one comment kept appearing from different accounts, different usernames, different profile pictures, same sentence.
Which version do you want to be true?
I opened the Cinder file. I did not read it out loud. I whispered nothing. I barely breathed. The first page showed the glass slipper from Blackbriar, but the file did not call it a slipper. It called it an identity vessel. Cinderella was not the original name. The first recorded subject was a servant girl in 1812, then a mill worker in 1894, then a foster child in 1931, then a missing page, then another, and another. Every few decades, the slipper appeared near someone desperate enough to believe their life could be replaced by a better one. Not fixed, replaced. The public version said a poor girl went to a ball, lost a shoe, and was chosen by a prince. The raw incident said something else. There was no fairy godmother. There was no carriage. There was no prince. Only a house full of people who had been cruel to someone, and an object that knew cruelty made people easy to bargain with. The slipper did not fit feet. It fit suffering. When placed on the right person, it copied them, their voice, their face, their memories, their dreams. Then it made a better version, a version that smiled more, a version people preferred, a version that got the happy ending. The old version was usually found in ash, sometimes in the fireplace, sometimes under the floorboards, sometimes not at all. At the bottom of the page was a handwritten note from Dr. Wren. The public remembers Cinderella as rescued. That is safer. Never allow children to ask what happened to the girl before midnight. I scrolled lower. There were photographs. A dining room covered in white ash. A staircase with one glass shoe at the bottom. A family portrait where every face had been scratched out except the servant girl's. Then one photo made my blood go cold. It was my motel room, the bed, the broken bathroom window, the laptop still open, and my missing sneaker placed neatly on the pillow. The timestamp was 9 minutes after I escaped. Under the photo was a new note. Subject refused first fitting, second fitting authorized. I pushed away from the computer so fast the chair fell over. The librarian looked up. So did everyone else, except the little girl sitting in the children's section. She was reading a picture book, a bright blue one with a castle on the cover. She looked at me and said, in a voice far too old for her body,
You should have tried it on.
Then the library lights flickered, and every computer screen changed to 11:59.
Chapter 3. The Woman Who Wrote Endings.
I found Dr. Wren 3 hours later because she wanted to be found. There was an envelope taped under my steering wheel. Inside was a motel key, a burner phone, and a folded paper map with one location circled in black marker. Storyville Child Development Museum. Closed in 2004, condemned in 2011. Funded by a literacy grant in 1976. The note under the map said, If you opened Cinder, she has already started fitting you. Do not sleep in a house with stairs. Do not stand near fireplaces. Do not trust anyone who says you deserve better. The museum sat at the edge of a dead shopping center. Its faded sign still smiled. Storyville, where every child finds their happy ending. The front doors were chained. The side door was open. Of course it was. Inside, the museum was full of rotting exhibits, oversized books, plastic trees, painted castles, a fake wishing well, a puppet theater with no puppets, a reading corner shaped like a giant shoe. Dr. Wren waited for me beside an exhibit called The Hall of Heroes. She looked worse than before. Her silver hair was cut unevenly. One arm hung stiffly at her side. There was dried blood on her collar. But she was alive.
Mara.
I slapped her. The sound echoed through the empty museum. She did not stop me. Ben was there.
Yes.
You knew.
Yes.
You worked there.
Yes.
You helped them.
Yes.
Then tell me the truth. Dr. Wren looked toward the puppet theater like she expected something to be listening.
I did not send you the box.
That stopped me. Then who did? She handed me a copy of a Blackbriar shipping form. The date was 1998. The recipient was the Ashwood County Courthouse. The item description read, Children's Literature, Cover Story Material. The authorized handler was listed as Agent Rowan Pike. Rowan Pike was dead in the security booth.
Rowan Pike has been dead since 1974.
I remembered the man in the gray suit, same badge, same face, walking after me like a punishment that knew where I would run. What is he?
A margin note. That is what we called them. People who were edited out but kept moving. Pike was killed during an early mirror breach, but his name stayed in the files. His role stayed in the files. His orders stayed in the files. So the facility kept him.
That makes no sense.
No, it makes story sense.
A cold draft moved through the museum. Somewhere behind us, a music box began to play by itself.
Blackbriar did not just contain the stories. It organized them, categorized them, rewrote them. But after enough years, the archive started behaving like a story, too. It created roles: guards, witnesses, villains, survivors.
I thought of Director Voss saying I was part of the narrative. I thought of Ben behind the underground window. I thought of my missing sneaker on the pillow. What role am I? Dr. Wren did not answer quickly enough. What role am I?
The opener.
The music box stopped. Every storybook in the museum shifted on its shelf. Not fell, shifted, like they were turning to face me.
The archive needed someone outside the system, someone with a personal connection, someone the public would believe was scared, not trained, someone who could spread the files in a way people would actually read.
No.
Mara.
No.
The box was not sent to you by the government.
Stop.
And not by me.
Stop talking.
It was sent by the archive.
A noise came from the puppet theater, a dry wooden clap, then another, then another. Applause. I turned. Something behind the curtain was clapping slowly. Dr. Wren grabbed my wrist.
We have to leave.
But I could not move, because painted above the puppet theater curtain were words I had not noticed before. Every story needs someone to tell it. And behind the curtain, a voice whispered,
Again. Chapter 4. The New Files.
Dr. Wren drove this time. She said I was shaking too badly. She was right. We headed north through back roads while she explained what Blackbriar had hidden from everyone, even most of its own staff. The fairy tales were not separate incidents. They were branches. Branches of what?
Different shapes of the same old thing. Hunger became a house. Vanity became a mirror. Grief became a boy at a window. Cruelty became a slipper. Secrets became locked rooms. Promises became names. Voices became cages.
Every culture had versions. Every generation changed the details. The public thought stories evolved because people retold them differently. Blackbriar believed the stories evolved because something underneath them was learning which masks worked best. Dr. Wren gave me a folder from the back seat.
Do not read too much at once.
So of course, I opened it. The first file was Rapunzel Tower, Hairline Transmission. The public version said a girl was locked in a tower and let down her hair. The raw file described a radio tower, disguised as a church steeple in rural Pennsylvania. Teenagers heard a girl singing through dead phone lines. Anyone who followed the voice found strands of hair growing from electrical outlets, drains, attic vents, and old telephone poles. The hair was not hair. It was a listening network. Antenna. Nerves. The girl in the tower had not been trapped. She was bait. The second file was Rumpelstiltskin, True Name Exchange. The public version said a little man spun straw into gold and demanded a child unless his name was guessed. The raw file described hospital nurseries where newborn wristbands changed overnight. Mothers forgot the names they had chosen. Fathers signed birth certificates in handwriting that was not theirs. The entity did not want babies. It wanted names. A name, the file said, was the first story a person ever owned. Take the name, and you could edit the life. The third file was The Little Mermaid, Voice Removal Incident. The public version said a mermaid traded her voice for legs. The raw file described missing singers found walking out of lakes with lungs full of salt water, unable to speak, their shadows moving like fish beneath their skin. One note said, "Do not record subjects humming. Playback causes listener to forget their own voice." I closed that file fast. The fourth file was Bluebeard, Forbidden Room Protocol. The public version said a wife opened a forbidden door and found the bodies of previous wives. The raw file said the room was not in a house. It appeared in different buildings, hotels, hospitals, schools, basements. Always one blue door, always locked, always accompanied by a key that felt warm in the hand. Anyone who opened it found the worst thing they had ever hidden. Not a memory. The real thing. Still alive. Still waiting. The fifth file had no fairy tale title, only 3 words. The first draft. The page was blank. Completely blank. But looking at it made my teeth ache. I flipped it over. On the back, someone had written in Dr. Wren's handwriting, "If you find this file anywhere outside the Black Archive, burn the building and do not look at the smoke." I looked at Wren. What is the first draft?
We do not talk about that one.
Why?
Because it talks back.
The burner phone rang. Neither of us moved. It rang 3 times. Stopped. Then the radio turned on by itself. Static filled the car. Under it, a man's voice read numbers. Then a child laughed. Then Director Voss spoke.
Mara, Vale, Dr. Wren. You are traveling with stolen, classified material.
Dr. Wren reached for the radio knob. It shocked her hand.
You opened Cinder. That was a mistake.
Why?
Because Cinder does not chase people who want better lives, Mara. It chases people who believe they deserved a different story. And you just gave it the entire world.
A second later, headlights appeared behind us. 1 car, then 2, then 6, all black, all without license plates. Dr. Wren pressed the gas. In the side mirror, I saw something impossible. Each car had the same driver, Agent Rowan Pike. Same face, same gray suit, same dead stare. The archive had not sent 1 margin note. It had printed copies.
Chapter 5. The Fitting.
We lost the cars near an old factory town where the road split around a collapsed bridge. At least, we thought we did. Dr. Wren pulled into the parking lot of an abandoned bridal shop. Because apparently, when you are being hunted by fairy tales, every hiding place has to be ironic. The sign read, "Happily After, Formal Wear and Bridal." Half the letters were missing. Inside, mannequins stood in rows wearing yellowed dresses. Their plastic faces were turned toward the windows. Dr. Wren said we needed to rest. I told her I would rather die awake. She said that could be arranged if I kept talking. There was no electricity, no running water, no signal. For the first time since Blackbriar, the silence felt real. That scared me more. I searched through the Cinder file again. I needed rules. Every story had rules. That was the only comfort Blackbriar had left me. The Cinder file listed 3 stages. Stage 1, Invitation. The subject receives an object associated with escape, transformation, or deserved reward. A shoe, a dress, a key, a carriage token, a clock hand. Stage 2, Fitting. The artifact tests whether the subject's current identity can be removed cleanly. Signs include missing footwear, mirrored duplicates, altered photographs, and loved ones encouraging acceptance. Stage 3, Midnight Correction. If the subject refuses transformation, the story corrects the environment until refusal becomes impossible. I read that line 3 times. What does midnight correction mean?
It makes your life worse until the replacement feels like mercy.
Something bumped in the showroom, then a long, dragging sound. Dr. Wren grabbed her pistol. I grabbed a pair of scissors. We stepped into the showroom. The mannequins had moved. Not much, just enough. They were no longer facing the windows. They were facing me. At the center of the room stood a wedding dress on a headless mannequin. It had not been there before. White lace, pearl buttons, long sleeves, old-fashioned in a way that made it feel timeless instead of outdated. On the floor beneath it was a glass slipper. Not the one from Blackbriar. This one was smaller, cleaner, waiting.
Do not look at it like it belongs to you.
I don't, but I did. That was the disgusting part. For 1 second, some weak, exhausted part of me looked at that dress and thought, what if I could be someone else? Someone whose brother came home, someone whose mother did not die grieving, someone who did not crawl through broken glass with one shoe missing, someone who did not have stories climbing into her life through every crack. The glass slipper glittered. Behind me, my mother's voice said,
You have suffered enough, sweetheart.
I turned. She stood between 2 racks of dresses. My mother. Not the thing from the motel, not twisted, not backward. Her. I knew it was not her. I knew it. But grief does not care what you know. Grief only cares what you want.
Try it on. Let the story be kind to you for once.
I cried. I hated myself for it, but I cried.
Mara!
The room stretched. The bridal shop became a ballroom. The cracked tile became polished marble. The mannequins became guests and masks. The ceiling rose into darkness. Music began. At the far end of the ballroom, someone waited with no face. Not a prince, not a man. A blank figure in a black suit, holding a book open in both hands. Every masked guest turned toward me.
This is the part where everyone finally sees you.
The glass slipper slid across the floor by itself. It stopped at my bare foot. Then it opened. Not like a shoe, like a mouth. Ah! I screamed. Dr. Wren fired 3 shots. The ballroom shattered back into the bridal shop. The slipper cracked. A sound came from it. High, angry, almost human. The mannequins collapsed. My mother vanished. But the faceless figure at the end of the room remained for 1 extra second, long enough to lift one hand and turn a page. Then it was gone.
What did you see?
A person.
What person?
I don't know. No face. Holding a book. He turned a page. Dr. Wren stepped away from me like I had become contagious. What does that mean?
It means Voss was wrong.
About what?
Cinder is not hunting you.
The lights in the bridal shop flickered on, even though the building had no power. Every mannequin lifted its head.
It is editing you.
Chapter 6. The page behind the page.
We did not leave fast enough. That was our mistake. By the time we reached the front doors, the glass was covered in writing, not from the outside, from inside the glass. Girl escapes. Girl runs. Girl learns. Girl opens. Girl tells. Girl replaces. Dr. Wren backed away.
No.
What is it? The burner phone buzzed in her pocket. A text appeared from no number.
Why did you stop writing her?
Dr. Wren dropped the phone. What does that mean?
I tried to remove you.
The words hit harder than any slap. What?
After Ben disappeared, your family was monitored. Your mother was breaking down. Your father was angry. You were remembering too much. Blackbriar ordered memory softening. But it did not work on you. Not fully. You kept dreaming about the window, the mud on the ceiling, the voice outside.
I remembered my childhood bedroom, the police lights, my mother crying into a dish towel, my father punching a hole through the hallway wall, and me telling everyone I heard Ben laughing outside my window. No one believed me. No, that was not true. Someone had believed me. Someone had come to the house. A woman with silver hair that was not silver yet. Dr. Wren, you were there.
Yes.
What did you do to me?
I rewrote your statement.
That was the second answer. The reason nobody believed me was not because I sounded like a grieving child. It was because my official statement had been changed. Dr. Wren had made sure the world remembered me as confused, unreliable, traumatized, a child who dreamed instead of witnessed. My hands closed around the scissors. Dr. Wren did not move.
I deserve that.
You let them erase my brother.
I tried to save you.
You erased me.
I did.
The windows cracked. The words changed. Girl discovers betrayal. Girl chooses revenge. Girl becomes useful. Dr. Wren saw them and grabbed my wrist.
Mara, listen to me. This is what it wants.
What wants?
The thing behind the files.
You said the archive sent the box.
I was wrong.
Behind the glass, the faceless figure appeared again, closer now, still holding the book, still turning pages.
The archive is not the author.
The figure lifted its head. It had no eyes, but I felt it look at me.
It is the manuscript.
The front doors burst open. Wind tore through the bridal shop. Pages flew from nowhere, thousands of them, circling us like birds. On every page was a different version of my name. Mara Vale, Mary Vale, Maribel Vale, M. Vale, the archivist, the opener, the girl who read, the girl who told, the girl who would fit. One page slapped against my chest. I grabbed it. It was a file I had never seen. Project, Bedtime Files. Subject, Mara Vale. Status, active narrative carrier. Purpose, distribution through fear-based retelling. At the bottom was a line that had been typed seconds ago. Next public version forming. Under that, in red ink, do not let her know she is the story. The faceless figure turned another page. Dr. Wren screamed, not because something attacked her, because words appeared across her skin. Black letters rising under the flesh of her arms, her throat, her face. The woman who wrote endings must end. She fell to her knees. I grabbed her. No.
Oh, there it is.
What do I do?
Do not finish my sentence.
What?
If I start saying something that sounds like an ending, stop me. That is how it takes people. It gives them the line they think they deserve.
The figure turned another page. Dr. Wren's mouth opened against her will.
I am sorry for what I
slapped my hand over her mouth. The bridal shop screamed. Not a person, the building. Every mirror shattered. Every dress tore down the middle. Every mannequin turned toward us. The faceless figure lowered the book. For the first time, it spoke. Not out loud, not in my head. On every page, in the air at once.
Let her have her ending.
I looked at Dr. Wren, the woman who ruined my life, the woman who helped bury Ben, the woman who led me into Blackbriar, the woman who was still trying to save me. I dragged her toward the door. No, you do not get to write that one. The pages dropped, the figure vanished, but as we ran into the street, one final page stuck to the inside of the broken window. I saw it before the wind took it. It was not typed. It was handwritten. A neat, old-fashioned script.
Better. Chapter 7. The Margin.
Dr. Wren said there was one place left where we might be safe. Not Blackbriar, not a government site, not anywhere that existed on a public map. She called it the Lantern Room, an old emergency archive built before Site Blackbriar had a name, a place where the 1st Bedtime Division workers stored files they were too afraid to classify. We never made it there. That is what Dr. Wren keeps trying to tell me. She says the road disappeared first, then the trees, then the sky, and then the world folded like paper. One second we were driving through the rain, the next the headlights were shining across a floor made of black glass. There were no walls, no ceiling, no horizon, just darkness in every direction, and pages, thousands of pages, falling from above. Except they were not falling down, they were falling upward. The car rolled to a stop. The engine died. Dr. Wren did not move. Her hands stayed locked around the steering wheel. I looked through the windshield and saw doors, hundreds of them, floating in the dark. A red door, a blue door, a nursery door covered in stars, a cottage door with candy stuck to the frame, a mirror hanging where a door should have been, a wooden door with claw marks down the middle, a tower window with hair spilling down like telephone wire, a hospital door with newborn names scratched into the paint, and at the center of it all, a desk, old, black, covered in open books. There was an ink bottle on the desk, a white feather dipped in black ink, and beside it was a file. No title, only the symbol. A white feather dipped in black ink. Dr. Wren saw it and went pale.
Close your eyes.
What?
Mara, close your eyes.
Why?
Because this is not a place. It is a page.
I opened the car door before she could stop me. The air outside was cold, but not like winter. It felt unfinished, like the world had been sketched but never colored in. Every step I took echoed too late. I would move, then hear myself move a second later. The file on the desk opened by itself. It did not have a title, only the symbol, a white feather dipped in black ink. Dr. Wren grabbed my wrist so hard it hurt.
Close it.
What is it?
Mara, close the file.
Tell me what it is.
That symbol was older than Blackbriar, older than the Bedtime Division, older than every public version we ever wrote.
Who does it belong to?
Not who, what.
The darkness shifted around us, not like something moving through it, like the darkness itself had heard her. The floating doors began to open one by one. Behind one was a forest. Behind another was a ballroom. Behind another was Ben's bedroom. Behind another was a room full of mirrors covered in fingerprints. Behind another was a tower window with hair spilling out like telephone wire. Behind another was a hospital nursery where every crib had the wrong name written on it. Dr. Wren stepped backward.
No.
Somewhere in the dark, pages began turning by themselves. Dr. Wren whispered the name, like saying it too loud would make it real.
The Oncewriter.
The pages stopped. Every door slammed shut. Then a voice spoke from behind us. Not loud, not angry, almost amused.
Every child thinks a story ends when the book closes. That is adorable.
I turned around. There was a figure sitting at the desk now. Tall, thin, dressed in an old black suit. No face, no eyes, no mouth. Just smooth, pale blankness where a person should have been. Its hands were long and stained with ink. One hand rested on the open book. The other held the white feather. It did not look at us. It did not have to. I could feel myself being read.
Do not speak to it.
What is the thing with no face?
We never gave it a name.
Why?
Because names are invitations.
Then what did Blackbriar call it? Dr. Wren looked at the blank page in her hand.
The Oncewriter.
What does it write?
Not stories. People.
The Oncewriter dipped the feather into the ink. The sound was small. Wet. Careful. Then it began writing in the book. With every word it wrote, something changed around us. A door appeared where there had been nothing. A lullaby started playing from nowhere. The smell of gingerbread filled the air. A clock struck 11:59. Ben's voice whispered from behind one of the doors.
Mara?
I almost answered. Dr. Wren covered my mouth.
Do not give it dialogue.
The Oncewriter tilted its blank head. The page beneath its hand filled with words. I could not see them at first. Then the ink spread. The words turned toward me. Mara Vale enters the margin. Mara Vale learns the author's name. Mara Vale asks the wrong question. My stomach dropped, because underneath that, a new line was writing itself. Mara Vale wants to know if her brother can still be saved. The Oncewriter lifted the feather from the page. The doors opened again. This time, only one door stayed lit. A bedroom door. My bedroom door. The one from the night Ben disappeared. Rain tapped against the window behind it. Slow, familiar, real.
Mara, do not go near that door.
Why?
Because it is not showing you what happened. It is showing you the version that will hurt enough to make you open it.
The Oncewriter finally turned the book around. On the page was a title. Not Cinderella, not Snow White, not Peter Pan, not the Bedtime Files. It was my name, Mara Vale. Under it were 2 words. First draft. Dr. Wren started crying. I had never seen her cry like that before. Not scared, not guilty, defeated. What is this?
Mara.
What is this?
Every story needs a teller, but the best ones do not know they are telling it.
The bedroom door creaked open. Inside, I saw Ben, 8 years old, dinosaur pajamas, bare feet, standing in the middle of my old room. There was mud on the ceiling, fresh mud, dripping down in slow black drops.
Mara, please. This is the night you forgot.
My chest tightened. Dr. Wren grabbed my arm.
No.
Ben lifted one shaking hand and pointed, not at the window, at me.
It did not call my name first. It called yours.
The Oncewriter turned another page, and then I remembered. Not everything, just enough. A rainy Tuesday night, Ben asleep in his bed, me standing at the window, a voice outside whispering from the dark. Not Ben's name, mine.
Mara! Mara, come look! Mara, open the window. Mara, let the story in.
I stepped backward. No.
You opened it, and I went through.
The room went silent. Every door in the margin closed. The Oncewriter wrote one final sentence. The letters appeared in the air above us, black ink burning into the dark. Mara Vale was never the witness. The sentence changed. Mara Vale was the door.
That is why memory softening did not work.
The Oncewriter stood, slowly. The black glass floor cracked beneath its feet, but it made no sound. It closed the book. And for the first time, I heard something like a smile in its voice.
Now, we can begin.
The world folded again. The doors vanished. The pages burned upward into the dark. Dr. Wren, "Ah! My name!" Ben screamed from inside the bedroom, and the last thing I saw before the margin threw us back into the rain was the title on the Oncewriter's book changing. The Bedtime Files, Draft 3. Under it, a new line appeared, written in fresh ink. She knows what she is.
Chapter 8. The Blue Door.
We woke up in the road. Rain poured over us. The car was gone. The files were gone. The burner phone was cracked in half beside Dr. Wren's hand. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then Dr. Wren started. Not because anything was funny, because fear had finally broken something in her.
We were wrong.
About what?
Everything.
She sat up slowly, holding her side.
Blackbriar did not create the public versions to contain the fairy tales.
You said they were vaccines.
They were.
Then what were you wrong about?
We thought we made them weaker by changing them, but maybe changing them was how it learned to write.
The rain felt colder after that. I thought of every bedtime story ever softened for children, every monster made silly, every death changed into sleep, every warning turned into a rhyme. Every ending forced to be happy because adults thought children needed comfort. Maybe comfort was the bait. Maybe happily ever after was not the cure. Maybe it was the infection. 3 knocks came from somewhere nearby, not behind us, not in front of us, below us. Dr. Wren and I looked down. The yellow line in the middle of the road split open. Asphalt cracked apart like paper tearing down the spine of a book. Underneath was a blue door, not attached to a room, not buried in dirt, just there, upright beneath the road. A brass key hung from the knob, warm, waiting.
Bluebeard.
Behind the door, something knocked from the other side.
Mara, open it.
It used my mother's voice.
Please.
It used Ben's. You need to know what you are hiding. It used mine. The key turned by itself. Dr. Wren raised the pistol. I stared at the door, because carved into the blue paint just above the knob was a symbol I had seen before. A white feather dipped in black ink, and beneath it, words had been scratched into the paint. She is almost ready to read us.
Who is she?
The door opened 1 inch. From the darkness behind it came the sound of pages turning. Then the Oncewriter's voice whispered,
Once upon a time, Mara Vale found the truth, and the truth found her first.
The door opened wider. Inside was my childhood bedroom. Not a memory of it, the real room. The same wallpaper, the same bed, the same rain against the window, and on the ceiling, fresh mud. Ben stood in the center of the room, 8 years old, dinosaur pajamas, bare feet, crying.
Mara, this is the night you forgot.
That was when I remembered the thing I had spent my whole life not remembering. Ben had not opened the window. I had. Because the voice outside had not called his name first. It had called mine. And I answered. The blue door slammed shut. The road sealed itself. The rain stopped. The world went still. Dr. Wren stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time.
Mara.
I looked down at my hands. There was black ink under my fingernails. I do not know when it got there. I do not know what I wrote. But Dr. Wren did. She pointed behind me. On the wet road, written in fresh black ink, were 3 words. Not by the Oncewriter. Not by Dr. Wren. By me. Open the next. And somewhere far away, every bedtime storybook in the world turned 1 page by itself. Not to the beginning, to my name. And that is where episode 2 of the Bedtime Files ends. We finally know the name of the thing behind the stories. The Oncewriter. It does not just write fairy tales, it writes people. But the biggest question is this: is Mara the victim, or has she been part of the story since the beginning? Comment your theory below. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment your theories. It helps the channel grow, and it lets me know you want more of the Bedtime Files. Until next time, lock your doors, check your mirrors, watch the clocks, and if you hear pages turning in an empty room, do not ask what happens next.
You've been listening to Narrated.